Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing more tie-dye, so let's head down to the kitchen and get started. Okay, welcome to my kitchen. If you are new here, just to catch you guys up, last year I had, well, a while ago, a couple of years ago, I had ordered a bunch of plain white t-shirts for myself to tie-dye. Last year I finally did it, and it was so much fun that I wanted to do it again. However, I didn't really need more t-shirts, so I decided I was going to go and thrift a bunch of t-shirts and then put them up on my Etsy, which are still on my Etsy if anybody wants a t-shirt. That video, which I'll put in the cards above, I still have 6 shirts left from me thrifting. So we are going to, oh, not we, I am going to do a couple of batches of shirts. Today we're going to do 3, and then tomorrow I'm going to do the other 3. I have 6 left. And the reason why I'm doing them in batches is because I don't have enough bottles. So this is my tie-dye kit. These bottles are from the original kit that this tub had. I was not smart enough to save more than 8. I have 8 of these. But in that last video that I did with t-shirts, the colors that were in these bottles were the ones that I used on those t-shirts. And I got a big box of tie-dye that does not come in bottles. So we will be figuring that out. But first, let me get the rubber bands out. So for the first batch, I have 3 t-shirts. They have been washed, and then I just got them a little bit more damp just now because I needed to eat lunch, and the wash was done before I had eaten lunch. So this first shirt, so when I went thrifting, I initially was just in the women's section, and I was like, oh, let me look in the men's section as well. So a lot of these shirts are probably more considered a women's shirt, but a bunch of them are basically the same shirt. So this first shirt is unfortunately does not have any natural fibers in it. It is mostly spandex with a little bit of, it's mostly polyester with a little bit of spandex in it. It's a size extra large, and it's actually apparently sold by Cricket. I don't know. I really like a classic spiral on t-shirts, so I don't think I'm going to be doing anything crazy with the designs. I'm not like one of those big tie-dye people who does all these crazy designs, so I'm just going to do real simple twists, but I think because this one's pretty large, I'm going to do a bunch of little ones. Just to kind of have something different. 3 spirals. Now, the thing with a shirt that does not have any natural fibers in it is it will not take the dye as well. I learned this with some of the shirts that I did the first time. I was not looking at fiber content when I was picking those shirts. I was just kind of looking for shirts that were different sizes, different styles. Like I didn't want them all to be like plain t-shirts. I do have some plain t-shirts. When I was at the thrift store, like I said, I was mostly in the women's section at first. And then I'm like, oh, I should probably look in the men's section. And all of the white t-shirts in the men's section were Fruit of the Loom. And there were even some of those shirts in the women's section, and I had already picked some up. So for today's batch, 2 of those shirts are Fruit of the Loom, a large and a medium. And actually, I have a second Fruit of the Loom medium that will be part of tomorrow's batch. Let's do a scrunch for this one. I know I just said I like the spiral, but I want to do something different. All right. And one more shirt. This is a Fruit of the Loom medium. And I think we'll just do one big spiral in the middle. We have 3 shirts, 8 bottles, and 30 different colors. So let's go in. I'm going to pick them at random. Mint. Gray. Salmon. Coral. All right, I'm not picking at random anymore. What? Why am I getting all these oranges? All right, hold on. I've got a couple colors here. I've got brown, robin egg blue, lemonade, and green that I've used before. Oh, and also lime green. That was all from the yarn that I tie-dyed. I don't know when that was. Last year sometime. All right, I'm going to get rid of gray and black just because they're such dark colors. I got a little color chart here. I don't know how accurate the colors are, but let's get rid of brown. Mint again. I'm just gonna look bubblegum. And sky. That's one. Can you see that? That's one thing. And let's do orange, fuchsia, and yellow. That's 6, and I just need 2 more colors. Let's do lavender and royal blue. I don't know. No, not royal blue. Let me see something. Yellow, fuchsia, orange. That should be good. Sky, bubblegum, mint. That should be good. Just need 2 more colors. Salmon. I don't know if you can see that. You can actually see there are other colors in here, and I bet they will turn out speckled in a way. Do salmon and lavender. Now, I'm not going to use all of these colors. I'm not going to use all of the colors. There is quite a lot in each little bag. So I just kind of guesstimate. Sorry, I'm making so much noise. I just kind of guesstimate how much dye I think I'll need in each bottle. And I remember how much there was in each bottle. It was like a thin layer across the bottom. So it's not a lot of dye. I bet you it's way more when you buy these in bottles already. But I want to be able to use them more than once. Already making a mess. Bit of a preview of what the fuchsia is going to look like. Also, I do not plan on wearing gloves. I do not care about staining my hands. The gloves aren't great, so it just makes it harder. All right, last one. I like to put a cooling rack in the bottom of the sink so that it doesn't sit in a pool of dye as I'm working on it. Okay, let's do blue, green, and pink first. And because I have 3 bottles, I don't think I'm going to fill them all the way up. I want to say about 2 full bottles is a lot of dye. So doing each at about half should be good. So I've got hot water, mixing them up real good. That is mint. I hit the top because liquid gets trapped up under the little nozzle, and when you go to pull it off to use it, it splashes everywhere, so that just kind of limits it. Right, and let's do this one. This is one of the, for the loom shirts, it's the one that I scrunched up. You can see that? Perfect. Actually, I gotta move these out of the sink because I throw my empty bottles and all of its spits into the other sink. So starting with pink. Oh, those 3 are pretty together. I like that. We flip. I try to do the same on the other side. I think my hand's in the way right now, but I am left-handed. It's just a little bit easier. There, is that better? Okay, what I did not prepare for were anything to wrap this up with. Completely forgot about that. I want Ziploc bags. I know traditionally it's like wrapped up in cling film, but I don't feel like doing that, so. And it says, I think like 6 to 8 hours, let it sit. I like to do it overnight. So that will sit overnight. All right, this is the one that has no natural fibers. So let's do the orange and purple, I think they were. We're gonna do pie segments, I think. Yeah, that's a lot lighter than I would like. This one might not turn out so great. I was hoping for more saturation. Oh, I am already out. Damn, I should have done 3 on this one. I don't know what I was thinking. I originally was going to do 3 on this one, but then I changed my mind. I do not have high hopes for this. Do not have high hopes for that one. Yeah, we'll see how that one turns out. And the last one is a simple spiral. And we have pink, yellow, and purple I think I picked. Oh, I absolutely should have done this one on the other shirt. Oh well. The last shirt I did that had no natural fibers in it, I put way too much dye in it, and this time I put not enough. Oh, that's a great yellow. Oh, I love that yellow. Well, this one turned out kind of unintentionally lesbian flag colored. Happy accidents. Well, putting too much dye on it. That's okay. I did not learn my lesson. These should have all been quarter bottles or a third. That one really should have been that second shirt, but because I believe that's the medium, so there's a lot less fabric. All right, that's it for today. For you guys, we are going to cut to tomorrow where I do the next 3 shirts and then the reveal at the end. Okay, so day 2 didn't go exactly as planned. Usually when I do tie-dye in the kitchen, I like to do it on days where my mom is working at the office. Unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond our control, she had to work from home today. Therefore, the entirety of day 2 will be done with voiceover. Yay! The first shirt is this loft shirt. It is 100% cotton. I like shirts with pockets. I don't know why. So I decided to do a spiral starting at the pocket. The next shirt is this airy shirt, and it is not 100% cotton. It is 60% cotton and 40% modal, whatever that is. For this one, I again decided to just do another spiral, but decided to do it a little bit lower down on the shirt. The last shirt is the second Fruit of the Loom in medium that I have. For this one, I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different. And I've seen that there's a folding technique that you can do. I don't know if I executed it correctly. I also rolled it up at the end, which I don't think you're supposed to do, but I prefer my tie-dye to be more compact. It makes it much easier for me to dye as well as to bag up at the end. On to colors. I wasn't really sure what colors I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to do something different from yesterday, but also not use up certain colors. I plan on doing another yarn dye, so there are certain colors that I didn't want to use and others that I didn't care about as much. So the colors I ended up going with was Robin's Egg Blue, Lilac, and Red for one, Teal and Tangerine for another, and Light Green, Purple, and Pink for the last one. Something that I learned from yesterday is that I was not adding enough dye to the bottles. Some of these little sachets come with a lot of dye, so it's easier for me to split them and still have more for another dyeing. But some of them don't really have a lot in there. So I'm trying to conserve some colors because I plan on using them another day. And so I'm not using as much for the dyeing. The first shirt that I dyed was the Airy shirt. The next shirt was the Fruit of the Loom shirt. And the last shirt I did was the Loft shirt. Okay, so they are all rinsed and washed and dried. So let me start with day one's batch and start with the worst one that came out of it. Here's the shirt that was 90% polyester and 10% spandex, and none of the colors stuck to it. I even have a photo of it in the bag from that first night, and you can already tell it, to me anyway, it looked a lot lighter than it did when I first dyed it. Even when I was rinsing it, it looked a lot lighter, and it just basically all washed out. There was very minimal dye left before I threw it in the wash, and it came out completely white. So this is not something I'm going to be selling on my store. Maybe I'll try again with darker, more pigmented dye and see if it sticks, because I have done shirts with no natural fibers in it before and the color did stick, but that time it was a much darker pigment. So maybe I'll try again, maybe not, I don't know. But for right now, I'm going to put this back in my pile of stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. The next shirt from day one's batch, I think this one turned out really great. I wish there was more green in it. It was predominantly pink and blue, but that's okay. I really like the texture from scrunching. It's also really wrinkly. Other than the first shirt, all of them, because they got cotton and stuff in them, they're really wrinkly because they didn't want to dry correctly in the dryer when it was just 3 shirts. They just kind of flopped around. But anyway, all the shirts are very wrinkly. But yeah, so I really like the texture on this one. The scrunching method is really easy to do. We got a green sleeve here, some green on the bottom. That's basically it. There really isn't much green in this one, unfortunately, even though it's a really pretty shade of green. I probably could have done more green, more surface area in green, not more green dye. But yeah, so I think that one turned out really great. The third shirt from batch 1 also turned out really great. It's got really strong summer vibes. It makes me think of Starburst candy. It's pink and orange and yellow, and it's just a super fun shirt with a really great spiral in the middle. A lot of pigment, but then not a lot, so that you have that white peeking through. I think it turned out really great. Now for batch 2, as I had said in the voiceover, I added more pigment to the bottles, and if you saw from the footage, I used way more dye than I did on batch 1, just in quantity. And I had a lot of excess dye bleeding out even before I rinsed them. This first one is the one that I folded and then rolled up. I think it turned out so cool. I was really worried that the green got lost. It got really covered up by the purple because it was such a dark shade of purple. But most of it seemed to have rinsed out, and we've got this really great green stripe. The pink probably could be darker here, but it's you got a lot of pink on the side here. And also because it was folded, you get these really cool stripes, and looks just as good on the back. So I think this one turned out really cool. The next one is the one where I had it entirely blue on one side and purple and red pie slices on the other. It came out great. I could not have planned this any better. It was just on a whim. I've seen people do this where it's rainbow on one side and completely black on the other. But since I didn't mix up any black, and I didn't have enough bottles to do a full rainbow, I did this instead. And I'm so glad that I did. Yeah, the reds kind of lost a little bit. It definitely got overtaken by the purple and the blue turning it purple, and then just the purple in general taking it over. But I think it turned out really great. And I feel like you can see the spiral a little bit better on the back. The pocket, I feel like kind of detracts from it. Maybe that's just from me looking at it up close. But yeah, I think this one turned out really great. And for the last shirt of batch 2, which is my favorite from batch 2, is this one. The two-tone swirl. It came out so good. I actually had to have it sit upright with the blue side on the bottom and the yellow side on top so that none of the blue dye would leak into the yellow and turn it green. It did happen a little bit You can kind of see it a little bit more on the back here. There's some of this kind of muddy green happening here, but for the most part, it stayed separate from me having it oriented that way. This one had the most amount of dye put into it. It was a huge puddle at the bottom of the bag, and I probably could have put less water in it, but I still think it turned out really great. It also screams summer to me, and I'm really happy with how the shirt turned out. These are all of the shirts that I made that turned out good. They are all listed on my Etsy right now. There is a link in the description directly to this listing, and you can also find my last tie-dye shirts, the shirts from the last video, in there as well. And I hope you enjoyed watching. I really enjoyed making these. I definitely want to do it again. I don't have any more shirts for me to do it with. I just have this one polyester shirt that doesn't work. I don't know if I'm going to go thrifting anytime soon. As you know, I'm trying not to spend any money. So I don't know if or when I'm going to be doing another tie-dye shirt video for my Etsy channel. So if you want any of these shirts or any of my previous shirts, they are all on my Etsy listed below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy crochet, sewing, or any other kinds of crafts, please consider a follow. I upload every Sunday, and I hope to see you there. Bye.